Hi, my name is Judy Norman. We're going to be talking about finding our way through the chaos, an educator's guide to navigating the pandemic.
This series includes 5 videos. The topics and the length of each video is listed here.
In the final video, we're going to be looking at remembering our whys. We're going to talk about being where we are right now and focus on truly valuable life lessons, the big picture.
Think back to what inspired you to become an educator in the first place. What was it that drove your passion for teaching? How did you want to impact the future of your students? Purpose is the reason you journey. Passion is the fire that lights your way.
The passion that drove us to teaching doesn't live in these classrooms. It lives within us. We need to focus on the present. We need to be present. Today, we are living with threats to our physical safety. There are so many unknowns, and our perceptions around it are scary. There's so much incongruence that we're confused and we don't really know what's going on. All of the shoulds are keeping us in a place of judging ourselves and not feeling good enough. We don't have control over these perceived threats. However, we do have control over how we're going to move through them. What would it look like to really focus on what everyone needs right now?
Keep calm and power through is not the answer. Powering through is an issue that comes up all the time when I'm working with teachers. It sounds like this: if we can just get through this unit, if we can just get through this testing, then everything will be okay. This is the opposite of self-regulation. This is the opposite of being present. Instead, if we pause, regulate, do what our body needs to do, then we're in a much better position to respond rather than react. We grow our windows of tolerance when we face our challenges and learn that we can actually deal with them. We can support our students in facing the challenges that the world is throwing at them right now. We can help them see that they can handle anything and help them grow stronger. Are we able to do this if we are staying stuck in a hyper-aroused or hypo-aroused state? We have to commit to growing our own windows of tolerance so that we can regulate ourselves when we need it and co-regulate our students when they need it. In this way, we're teaching them self-management, self-regulation, and resilience. Think about how that's going to impact their futures. What does all of that have to do with our expectations, our anxieties, and surfing? So our anxieties often come from thinking about the past or worrying about the future. If we focus on the present, if we focus on what we can actually do right now for our students, then our attention is going to the things we have control over, not the things we don't. What about expectations? Where do those come from? A lot of those are coming from our shoulds. So if we can accept that I am exactly where I need to be, that I am good enough to be able to be giving my students what they need, because it's the same thing I need, and I can explore growing my window of tolerance to be able to deal with my challenges, and I can be offering the same thing to my students, we are going to be managing our shoulds as well. Where does surfing come in? Apparently, to learn to surf, it's really about being in relationship. It's about being able to stay present. It's about having an awareness of your body, getting used to falling and getting yourself back up, and, believe it or not, 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You're probably asking, what is she talking about? Well, when I looked up information and resources on how to learn to surf and how to teach other people how to surf, the first thing that it says is do not
learn to surf alone and to find a good teacher. We can be that person that is helping them take on those challenges, take on those big waves, and learn how to breathe through them. And being present. When you're surfing, if you're not present, you're not able to deal with what's right there in front of you. You have to stay very present. This is the wave in front of me right now. There's a huge awareness that has to take place when we're surfing. We have to know what's going on with our bodies. We have to be able to balance ourselves. We have to find that sweet spot on our board, and nobody else can do that for us. We have to be aware of our own bodies enough to be able to figure that out. We've got to get used to falling down. When you're learning how to surf, you're going to fall down a lot. Are you getting back up? Do you have the resilience to pull yourself back up? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe you can overcome the challenge of learning? Teach them that they can believe in themselves, that they can believe that they can handle challenging things. And finally, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Apparently, paddling is a very important skill to have when you're surfing. And there's a right way to do it. And every place I looked described it as one arm and then the other arm. I couldn't help but make the parallel between 1 foot in and 1 foot out. If we're using both arms or both feet, we're spinning out of control. The wave is overtaking us. But if we can stay connected to ourselves here, to this regulated place, we can put one arm in or 1 foot in and bring ourselves back to our windows of tolerance and move through that wave. In order to do that, we have to make a commitment to doing it for ourselves first. If my window of tolerance is not big enough, I can't step into that wave with my students. I have to get comfortable enough sitting in all of that choppy water, all of those overwhelming feelings, and regulate myself so I can put my hands out to them and help them through too. Give yourself permission to regulate anytime you start to feel dysregulation in your body. What if you're online with the students and the internet keeps going on and off? That would be really frustrating. What do? Do we stop and go, I'm really frustrated right now. It's really hard to keep paying attention with this going on. Who else is feeling frustrated about this? What do we need right now? Taking a deep breath, moving our bodies, and then moving on. That's a way to recognize if I'm feeling frustrated, everybody's feeling frustrated. So I'm going to name it. I'm going to tell them what's going on in my body as a way to help them recognize what's going on in theirs. Give them permission to say how they feel, and then come up with what do we need to do to regulate ourselves before moving on, rather than just powering through and ignoring that there's a challenge there that we're struggling with. What happens if you blow it? What if you can't do that and you get stuck in hyperarousal or hypoarousal with the frustration and you lose it? Because you're human. What do we do then? We own it. We say, wow, I think maybe I should have stopped and taken a breath. I think I got a little hyper-aroused. Wonder what I should do next time. What great modeling for how we can take responsibility for the times when we do get stuck, because we will, and so will they. Give yourself permission to do that. I'm hoping some of the strategies that we've been learning have been working for you, and you're noticing that it feels a little bit better when you can name what's going on and bring the intensity down. We have one more strategy that we're going to learn, and it's called Speak from a Part's View, and it's my favorite one. I'll use an example for a young kid and an older kid. Maybe a younger kid who wants to run down the hall. Remember being young and wanting to run down the hall? We all felt that way. So what might that sound like? I totally get it. Running down the hall sounds like fun. There's a part of me that would love to let you do that. But there's a part of me that knows that I can't because it wouldn't be safe for everybody. And maybe for an older kid that wants to keep their cell phone out on their desk, I get it. Your cell phone is really important to you. And there's a part of me that would really love to just let you leave it sitting on your desk so you can see it. But there's this other part of me that knows that that really wouldn't work for everybody else because it would be really distracting. So the key to this strategy is that you're tuning in with them. You're showing them that you get how they feel. So you're validating that, but then you're also validating that there's this other piece that's going on. So add that one to your toolbox and try these different strategies. You might not like all of them, and they don't all work all the time. That's why we need different ones. But figure out what feels comfortable for you and try it out for yourself and with your students.